Hello and welcome to Morris Park. I'm Clyde Morris. Today I just wanted to show you a few things that were blooming here in the park, kind of coming to life again. Things kind of crawl slowly into spring here, so I haven't made too many videos lately, sorry about that. But I thought I'd show you some of the narcissus and so forth that are happening today. And I thought I'd show them to you right now because we may not get to see these a little later in the week or by next week because we're going to have another hard freeze and it'll probably wipe them all out. Anyhow, these are some we planted years ago down here on the woods here. You can see they're almost buried in leaves. I know it's been well over 20 years ago that we planted these. Now they haven't proliferated very much because it's very shady in here. Probably made a mistake planting them right here. But they do bloom every year. A little closer there. Okay, let's check out some more stuff. It's a little windy out today, so I'm going to have to kind of watch it. See the branches up under our tree here. Good sized ones. This is a good sized oak tree. Yeah, it's kind of windy. I'll get out from under it. This is one of our flowering quince. And it's getting ready to bloom right now. See the buds there. This one isn't real thick because it kind of grows under the trees here, as you can see. In fact, that's a real nice dogwood tree right there. It ought to be blooming here in a couple weeks. Big old white dogwood. This is native to Missouri. It's one of our native trees. We'd never planted this one. But anyhow, yeah, it won't be long for this quince. Now, believe it or not, under this pile of leaves, there's a banana tree. Yep, that's right. There's a banana tree under here. And I think if you just peel back some of it, yeah, right there. And that's one of the shoots that'll be coming up. I'm going to bury that back because so it won't freeze. But yeah, we have a nice little banana tree here. They're a hardy banana tree. They, as long as you cover them with leaves and mulch them, after you cut them down in the fall, they'll pop back up and grow through the summer like you have some tropical foliage. This is actually one of our redbud trees. And you can see they're gearing up. You can see that purple color coming in on the branches here. Phone doesn't want to focus too well on this. But they're tiny clusters of buds. And just looking at this one, say it has 6 or 7 flowers to one of the clusters. Not just one of them, I mean they vary. But this will be a spectacular show here in a couple weeks. Be one big head of lavender. Really awesome. We'll be showing it to you. Now these are some of our minis. This cluster's been here for quite a while. I forget how many years, but we planted it quite a while back. And they bloom real dense. That's what I like about them. They take up a small area, but bloom dense. Look at that. Quite the cluster there. Real beautiful. Hey, it's Big O. Hi, Big O. Big O is for Big Orange Cat. He wasn't originally our cat. One of our neighbors moved away from down below and left him. He's pretty friendly now. We got him taken care of and everything, and he's real friendly now, but he's not very friendly with one of our other indoor cats, so we got to kind of watch him. He can go from being this lovey guy to being a pretty heavy-duty brute, so we don't let the two out together or they'll fight. Yep, that's Big O. Now these are some white ones we have here that are really nice. Yes, Big O, I see you. He's got to have his shot too, I guess. But yeah, these are real different. It's kind of a semi-double. See in the middle there. Really different. I kind of like the different ones. Very cool. And we got another little cluster of minis here. The flowers are actually smaller than the first one I showed you. Well, he's a real ham, isn't he? Yeah. But anyhow, yeah, smaller cluster. I can't wait till it grows out and we can see more on it, just like that big cluster I showed you. Real cool. Now these that are growing here, we're not going to see any flowers on right now. These are what they call naked lady amaryllis or surprise lilies or whatever you want to call them. First they grow their leaves in the springtime, grow real nice leaves. And then after a few months and it starts getting hot, all the leaves die. But then, a little later in the summer, the flower heads will come up and bloom out and they're beautiful pink but absolutely no leaves. Just like a lot of amaryllis that when they go to bloom, they usually have their flowers before they have the leaves. Well, this one has the leaves before you have the flowers. So it's kind of in reverse. Pretty neat. This is one of our lilacs. It's a white lilac. My phone doesn't want to focus today. But you can see they got the nice heads of buds here. Gearing up, getting ready to bloom. It'll be a few weeks for them too. Some others just starting to open here. It's kind of underneath our Rose of Sharons. So these don't bloom quite as thick. And I think in this cluster, there's only like one bud. They're pretty well shaded out here by all this. We'll probably end up having to move them soon. This is one of our big crabapple trees. Deb planted this many years ago. Probably over 30 years ago. This wide, flat tree. But it is absolutely beautiful come springtime. It'll be one big cloud of white. We've got a couple of these trees, this one and another one. And they're absolutely beautiful. We actually have a, what they call red crabapple too, which has red leaves but pink flowers. Pretty cool. These are some really cool different ones. They're bicolor. I really like these ones because they are so different. More different than your normal narcissus that we have in the park anyway. Really looking nice. So I really like these. Now these are the standard King Alfred type. Very large flowers. We got a nice cluster up and growing here, basically because we put it together that way. We used to plant them more singly and here and there, but decided we kind of liked the group effect. More color in one spot makes it pop. Every year we buy some of these, buy bags of these and plant them here and there. This is one of the big bags. And they came out really nice. Yeah. Some other bicolors. Almost kind of look like an egg. You see the background there, we got some peonies coming up. I've noticed I've seen some shoots here and there on them. Right there. Here's a little cluster of minis. And these actually have smaller flowers than the big cluster I showed you earlier. And I believe the centers are a little darker. Really awesome. This is another big cluster we planted. You see, we spaced these out a little more. That's before we decided to start pushing them all together. But over the years, these have actually multiplied by seed. There's one. There's one. These smaller ones are seed. One there. Quite a few of them here. So these will seed and reproduce also, besides the bulbs just doubling up. See, all those are seedlings. All seedlings. Some there and there. Now it'll take probably a long time before we ever see flowers on these little guys. But I believe that one is a seedling that's good, getting its first flower right there. So that's pretty cool. One over there that's blooming now. So some of these will reseed. I don't know if all the varieties do it, but this particular variety seems to do it. Now this is a pink flowering quince. Starting to open. And this is in our little memorial garden. This is for Deb's brothers. Get a little bit of that out. We'll have to do some spring cleaning, it looks like, and take care of some of this. But anyhow, you can see one's opening. And this is a pink flowering quince here. Another one. Quite a few buds on this one. It's in more sunlight than the one down below. Got some more of these little guys coming up. One. These are a little smaller type. You can see we got them kind of planted on the bank here out by the road. Now pretty soon, along here there's going to be some pure white ones that are really cool. They haven't come up yet, or actually bloomed yet, excuse me. I think those might be some white ones there. And you can see them kind of cutting out through there under the bushes. There's a big forsythia bush here, and it hasn't bloomed yet, but it won't be long. And this is what they call a burning bush. Excuse me. No leaves yet on them. I believe these are some King Alfreds we planted years ago. Some of these I think we're going to have to start moving out of the shade. This gets grown up quite a bit. And they don't get a lot of light when they really need it, like right now. There's some small ones growing in here. Looks like they're going to bloom pretty good, actually. See the tiny little buds there? So they'll do pretty good. These other ones are a little finicky. They're not going to bloom this year. No buds whatsoever. And only one flower on that one. I think they need to come out. There's a whole bunch of seedlings there, you can see. that have come up. So one of these days we're going to have to remove a lot of these and get them back in the sunlight, probably in the fall. Got to keep track of where they are and dig them out and move them. This is a white flowering crabapple, our second one. We planted this 27 years ago. This turns into a big, beautiful tree. And these crab apples, one thing about them though, they are beautiful, but it's almost hard to stand them. They really smell so loud with the flowers, it's almost hard to take. Here's a big old tree. We got this tree on sale actually. I think it was like a $5 tree, something like that. One of our best buys, that's for sure. And this over here is a red flowering crabapple. The reason they call it a red one is not for the flowers, it's for the leaves. Leaves come out red, but the flowers actually are pink. So, what's cool about this, you can see the big one behind it. So when they bloom out, you got this big pink tree here and the big huge white one behind it. So the white one kind of frames it. It's really cool. Love it. Can't wait till it blooms. We're gonna have some latecomers around here too. You can see some of the yellow ones are a little later. I think these are doubles. I know they came out of a pot full, an arrangement that we bought at like Lowe's or something, and planted in the ground after they were done. And I'm pretty sure they're doubles. Looks like they're doing real well though. Well, these are my punchas, and some of you know these well because I've had them on my videos. This went through a super bloom last year. These humifuses here went through a huge super bloom, and they produced hundreds of fruit. I mean hundreds. It was almost kind of a mess. But what I decided to do, and some of you might be interested in this, is I may be offering these up for sale soon, these seeds, for this cold hardy puncha. And I'll let people know what I'm doing and try to sell some of these. Kind of help me and my channel out. The big ones back behind there are macrohiza, and they've actually already started to fill up. They're not quite as wrinkled. As you can see, humifuses are really wrinkled still from the winter. They haven't started growing, but these are starting to tank up a little bit. And then there's my little ones here in the container. This purple one here, which is really cool, is a hybrid, cold hardy hybrid called Orange Chiffon. It has beautiful orange flowers, kind of a pink orange. This one I'm told has orange flowers. It's a cat paw. Cold hardy, it's a Puncha fragilis hybrid. I haven't seen it yet. I got this at Drummond's a couple years ago, and he told me that he thought it had orange flowers, but wasn't sure. And the little guy here is called Alberta Sunset, another little hybrid, cat paw. And these are all fragilis. These two are fragilis hybrids, actually. See, Alberta Sunset, and it's a beautiful pink. I haven't got to see it bloom yet, but I can't wait. The other one I've seen bloom is this one, because when it was sent to me, it actually had a flower bud on it, and before it even had roots, it bloomed for me. So I got a preview of the flowers. It was really awesome. Beautiful flowers. But yeah, the punchas will be waking up pretty good here soon. Got a couple of hyacinths here getting ready to bloom. We had some others bloom, but they didn't really do too well. I'm hoping these will do better. That one's got a real wide head on it, almost like it's a crested head or a double head. Pretty cool. This is Oakley. Oakley just came to us. Yeah, he came to us. We didn't get him. He was dumped on us. And we just couldn't let him just sit out in the field across the road and starve. So we gave him a home. Hi, Oakley. This is one of our other flowering quins. It's a great big bush. But it's not as far along, but this is a double. And when it blooms, it's almost like roses all over. It's really cool. It's a pretty good size one. See there? And here's something that blooms that we kind of, we love and hate all at the same time. This is a, what they call Eastern Red Cedar. And actually a couple of years ago, it used to be more Christmas tree shaped like these over here. But you see it's kind of rounded out because we had an ice storm broke out the top of this thing. I was really disappointed. But this is a male tree. There's male and female trees. And this is the male tree, the male cones. Now I'm not going to touch this very much because these things get to where they almost look like they're on fire sometimes in the spring because of the pollen coming off of them. They smoke. And that's a true deal. You can look that up and Google that. But they actually smoke. And this particular tree is very heavy, and the allergies are terrible for this thing. We've been having a little bit of it, but so far not too bad, but I don't think it's quite released everything yet. As you can see, it's golden all over, and that's all the pollen cones. Now this tree here is actually a female tree. As you can see, it's not golden colored, it's more of a blue-green color to it. And you don't see all the pollen cones all over it. And say like in the fall, this will have little blue berries all over it that later turn into tiny cones and release the seed. The birds love these things. And that's how cedar trees spread out a lot. So you can see. They're pretty much everywhere here in the Ozarks. They're kind of a big part of industry too here. They make furniture out of them and all kinds of knickknacks and paneling and all kinds of things out of these trees. Wood is rot resistant, so it makes a good choice for furniture and such, and outdoor projects. I got a few things going on in the greenhouse, not a whole lot right now. But I'll show you a couple things in here. All right, well, it's nice and warm in here. It's a little cool out today. I think it got right into the 60s, but it's dropping fast. It feels like it's more like in the 50s out there now, low 50s. But anyhow, see in the greenhouse here, I got a few things. Of course, my Polygona, Euphorbia polygona, has been in bloom for a little while now. It's doing really nice. Waking up. This is my Groeni waldii. You see, the male part of the flowers is blooming right now. Now, this is both male and female. Later on, it'll probably get the female parts blooming out on it. Usually the female parts are satellited on each side of the male. See that bud there on the side of the male flower there? It'll probably be a female flower. And there's a couple more buds coming out there. Euphorbia Groeni waldii. Very cool plant. And let's see what else we got here. My Euphorbia palvinata is starting to wake up. It's done blooming. It always blooms in its sleep. But you can see the leaves just starting to pop out on it. Otherwise, these guys almost kind of look like a gymnoclycium cactus. But they're not a cactus. And these leaves are really cool when it tops out on all these leaves. I really like this plant. Had it for quite a while. I bought it at a little tiny produce shop in Dixon, Missouri, over where I work. And at the time, I didn't even work over there. The produce store is long, long gone. And if I was to guess, it's probably one of the very, very, very few little cacti and succulents that actually survived out of there, I'd say. But yep, getting little leaves. Let's see. I don't really see a whole lot blooming in the corner. I think my Seriformis might be gearing up a little bit. But none of the Horridas or anything are really doing a lot right now. I have watered them. I have not fed anybody yet. I'm going to wait till the sun gets a little bit more reliable, so to speak. My Euphorbia persistens here is growing real well. It's waking up nicely. My Euphorbia Enigma, my pollinator-made hybrid from this greenhouse. For those of you who hadn't seen it before, this is a hybrid I figured out of Euphorbia stellata, of an old stellata I had, and this Euphorbia evansii tree. If you look at the branches, these are mostly three-angled branches. Some are 4. Some will get to 5 and 6 if they turn into a main stem. Like that. But normally a stellata, as many of you know, just has flat branches like that. But then this one, as it grows a little bit, 3-angled branches, and actually 4-angled branches. Really cool hybrid. Pollinators gave me this one. I never cross-pollinated for this one. The seed came up by itself in one of my other plants. As you know, euphorbias propel their seeds as the seed pods explode, and then you'll hear them snap, and it actually sounds like sand being thrown. Be 3 seeds to a pod, and they just fly. And that's what happened. Came up by itself, and I've been raising it all these years. See, I believe the date on this, 2005, when it sprouted. This has got to be one of my favorite euphorbias. And if you look close, it's going to bloom for me. Bunch of little flower buds. Love this plant. Just so different. And this is the only one there is. It's an extremely rare hybrid. There is not another one in the world. Only one plant. I love the Caudex. Just like a little bonsai tree. Turn it around here. Really awesome. Yeah. Euphorbia Enigma. And the reason I call it Enigma is because it took me a long time to try to figure out which plant had pollinated the stellata. And this plant looked just like a little stellata when it started growing. And its first 5 years, it looked just like a regular stellata. But as you see, quite a bit of difference. 4-angled and 3-angled branches. Anyhow, my Mammillaria Hahniana. Been blooming a little bit. Still in bud mostly. My little elongata up here is coming into flower. This kind of had to recover. It got sooty mold really bad. It looked terrible. As you can see on this Copper King, it's kind of gray looking down there. It really looked almost black for a while because I put these outside one summer and they grew okay, but really molded up bad. It didn't kill the plant, but it really slowed it down, it seems. They're coming back. Elongata Gold Star and Copper King. Copper King hasn't started to bloom yet. And this one's another elongata variety. And I don't see any buds on it yet. I don't know if it's just not going to bloom or just hasn't bloomed yet. You see, it's quite a bit different than the regular one. This has more of a creeping habit, thinner stems, and actually has little central spines, kind of like the Copper King does, whereas the Gold Star has no central spines. If you look at that, they're devoid of central spines. But this variety does, just a different variety. My Mammillary Balkasana, I have both the normal, and I think it's the Rubriflora, I guess. I may be wrong on that. But the pink variety. They're a little closed up right now because it's cloudy out. I've had this one here for quite a while. And this one I just got a few years ago. And it hasn't clustered anything yet. It seems to seems to be solitary. Whereas normal type is really clustered. One of them good old-fashioned standbys. I mean, this is one of the easier cactus to grow. It's one of the first cactus that kids get and so forth. I remember these from when I was very young. They're a very cool cactus. Well, these are some of my Sansevierias. And not all of them are coming into bloom, but my Mikado Fernwood is just going to explode. Looks like we're going to have a super bloom with it. See all these flower spikes getting ready to open up. I'll have to do a video on that when it opens. That's going to be really cool. There's quite a few flowers on there. I think there's about 6 spikes on it, I think. I'm counting. Pretty awesome. I'll have to show it to you guys when it opens up. My fig trees are starting to get some leaves on them now. Seems like they always get it a little bit too early for me. When I do set them out, they get sunburnt real bad. I'll have to set them up under a tree or something like that. Usually I end up setting them up under one of our redbud trees. And I've got another one back in the corner back there. And there's my poinsettia. It's lost a lot of its leaves now. Pretty soon I'll be just cutting this thing back totally, giving it some new soil and letting it totally regrow. I always cut it back real short, almost down to the wood, and let it regrow. And it seems to do it a lot of good when it comes back out. It really is thick in the fall and for Christmas. This is my little Mammillaria prolifera, and it's always a show. The fruits on this thing last for a long, long time. I haven't bothered picking them off because well, they look great. But it is flowering real nice. And I'll probably go through and try to pollinate most of these flowers if I can, so to produce more fruit. The fruit really are pretty. It really adds to it. Another one I've got getting ready to bloom is my Perodia werneri, also known as Nodocactus eubomanius. Now, I grafted mine, and most of you are probably going, oh, it's hideous. But it's the only way I can grow this plant. And I love the flowers so much on this. Mine has really purpley purple flowers. Some have more closer to red or violet, but these are kind of almost purple flowers. And I've never been able to keep this one on its own roots. So I did graft this one on Stenosarius prenosus, and it's doing fantastic. This is going into almost its 3rd year now that I've had it, and I've never kept one that long, ever. So grafting sometimes can be a good thing if you really, really want something and really want to keep it. Looks like I'm going to have some flowers on my Sansevieria cylindrica also. See a spike coming up there. I actually didn't expect this one to bloom, but looks like it's going to do it. Anyhow, this is Clyde Morris from Morris Park. Hope you all have a great day. Oh, there's another thing. My Jatropha. This is Jatropha podogryca. It hasn't got really hardly any leaves on it yet, but it's going to bloom. Anyhow, this is Clyde Moore from Morris Park. Some monodinium. Wishing you all a great day. Hope you enjoyed the little tour. I haven't done anything for a while, so hopefully this will make up for it. And we'll see you next time. Take care, folks.